So Jen, as part of 9 Yards Consulting, you've released a whole heap of digital information and templates and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, by the way. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Putting it out there for people to access. Can we talk a little bit more about why you did that?
Yeah, sure.
And how you got to that point of releasing all of those templates?
Yeah. Okay. So as I sort of explained, I started my business when I was on maternity leave.
Yes.
And so very much juggling client work and parenting requirements or responsibilities. And also I was making that transition from commercial to residential, which is actually not, I mean, the project management skill set is transferable, but the specific construction knowledge around process and fixtures and fittings and materials and things like that is a little bit different to commercial. So I actually started off just during my daughter's naps. I would just write these notes. Like I started writing notes about renovating kitchens, more I think to cement the knowledge for myself, because you know they say you read it, you write it, you teach it, it cements it more and more as you go through that process.
You reinforce your belief system.
You're reinforcing it. Yep. So I just sort of started writing these notes, and then I got to the end of it and I'd covered essentially 10 topics worth of, you know, I had kitchens, bathrooms and laundries, fixtures and finishes, like engineering and services. And I was really just downloading all of my existing knowledge from the commercial sector and then researching to plug it in, you know, to plug in the gaps for residential. And then I kind of got to the end of it and I was like, well, I've got all this information. I should really do something with it because, you know, I wrote it in a way that anyone could kind of pick it up and read it. And so I hired a graphic designer to just create 10 ebooks for me out of this content. And it was also at a point where, you know, you've got the kind of one-to-one versus one-to-many approach in business. And so one-to-one is that direct project management for clients. The one-to-many is the scalable, you know, I can sell something over and over again to homeowners without having to do extra work. And that appeals when you're a young parent,
100%.
as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything I can kind of create once and just sell over and over again, great.
Yeah, great.
So I did that, and just as my daughter was starting at daycare around 15 months old, I put the first 5 ebooks out to market, and I sold like over 300 of them.
Wow.
And I do have quite a good audience, a very engaged audience of homeowners who are renovating their home on Instagram, and a lot of the conversions, you know, the sales came from there. But it just kind of made me realize that actually, you know, I may have been project managing at one end of the market, which is great and it's enjoyable, but I only have so many hours in the day, and actually there are a lot more people at the other end of the market, at the DIY end of the market, who are go-getters, and they just want the information so that they can go out and do it themselves. And so from there, I've extended that online range to include sort of workbooks on how to do specific things, guides on things like painting, like the actual proper process for painting. People think that painting is the thing that they can do themselves, and it is if you do it right.
I've painted my own house.
And that's the thing, like if you don't know about the prep work and what products to use on existing painted walls versus, you know, fresh plasterboard and that sort of thing.
Funny, I just went and spoke to the guy at Bunnings. So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But putting all of that information into one document, or even things like how to deal with a wall that's got wallpaper on it, you know, your different options and materials. So ebooks for renovating different rooms within your house, for different service areas, guides and workbooks, cheat sheets and checklists, and then I've got templates. So my biggest seller is my budget and cost tracker template.
Right.
So it's got the master page which links through to other sheets for each room in the house. And then what I've actually done to make it easier for homeowners is I've listed out all of the scope you'd be likely to come across in that specific room. Mm-hmm. And then I've added a bunch of notes on the right-hand side for like how you would estimate the cost of something, common areas for budget blowouts, miss scope, you know, things that homeowners often miss in their scope or builders miss in their scope and their pricing, just to help homeowners to actually produce the most accurate renovation, I guess, estimate, but that forms the budget for their project as possible, maybe even before they properly get into it so they're not going to that first meeting and going, my budget's 150 grand, but it's a
Yeah.
$400,000
Exactly.
fit out, because they can kind of ascertain that themselves.
And that would help them compare the builder's quotes that they receive.
Totally. Yep. If as long as the builders kind of scoped it, split the packages up in their own quote. Sometimes you get one-liners, which are not very, very helpful. And then
Sounds like a typical construction industry.
I know. Yeah, very typical. And then my biggest seller apart, I've got all my ebooks and my template documents, but then I've actually got an e-course which is called the Renovation Budget Blowout Prevention e-course, and that teaches homeowners essentially how to do my job.
Right.
Because, project management, obviously, you've got the scoping, you've got picking the right consultants, you've got, creating the timeline, so on and so forth, negotiating the contract. But that whole project management process all actually comes back to, how do you prevent budget blowouts?
Yep.
And budget blowouts always starts with picking the right people and scoping the project and setting the budget and making sure it's realistic. So the e-course is pitched at as how to prevent budget blowouts, but really it's how to project manage your renovation.
How to become a project manager.
To avoid budget blowouts.
Yeah.
And so that I launched that probably almost 3 years ago.
Oh, cool.
And it's, I just over and over again, I just sell it, and people love it. And I still get great feedback from homeowners who like to just kind of go in and do it at their own pace. And they can add on things like, like a pick my brain session over Zoom where they can get bespoke advice on their builder's contract or their the budget that they've produced, so that I can kind of get fresh eyes on it and pick holes in it basically and help them to de-risk their own project.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So if anybody's looking for
renovation resources,
Jen's your person.
Yeah, I'm your gal. Yeah. I also share a lot of content on Instagram.
I follow your Instagram.
Oh, do you?
I do now.
Yeah, at Renovate with Jen Jones. Yeah. Oh, so my page is at Renovate with Jen Jones, and then I also, because I'm quite passionate about creating content and making, I guess, renovation advice accessible to homeowners, I've also got my renovation podcast, which is called...
You do that with a TV host, don't you? What's his name?
Duncan Hyde. He's a radio broadcaster.
Yes,
so he's one half of the Rock Drive, which is the Rock's afternoon show. And he... I
should remember that. But
he is a laugh. He's great.
Cool.
So he kind of fills the role of a resident rookie renovator who's very keen to kind of get on the tools. And I fill the role of renovation expert, and together we interview different people, sometimes homeowners, sometimes experts in the field, and kind of get their advice on different things to make that, all of that advice accessible to homeowners. Like I said, it's just it's all about helping homeowners to upskill in renovation.
Oh, it's really cool. So if you're renovating your home, please check out Jen's Insta page.
Thank you.
And check out all the available resources that she's got online, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, cool. We'll leave some links below.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much for being here, Jen.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
A real pleasure having a chat with you about everything renovation.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.